Well, it started out as a tribute to one of my childhood heroes, Mississippi John Hurt. But then it evolved from there. I started out to make an album that was basically just kind of to reproduce some of the songs that he did on solo guitar. And then I decided to try, just as an experiment, to bring in a band. And I assembled a band of good friends and amazing musicians here in Nashville. And once we began to play these very same songs, the magic in the studio just started to happen. So we just went with it. And the album really is an incredible collection of musicianship and great songs from the late 1920s and early 1930s, which really became kind of a snapshot of the earliest days of American popular music, when radio was just being in its infancy, and records, phonograph machines were becoming available to people. So it really kind of shines a light on the earliest days of what eventually evolved into American popular music. No, it was done in one studio in Nashville in a very compressed period of time. 1 week in November of 2016, we cut 5 tracks, and then 1 week in January of 2017, after the holidays, we cut another 5 tracks, and that was it. It was done live in the studio onto tape in a very old school fashion, because the music is, it's old music, and I wanted it to be as authentic and as have the audio, sonic quality that it deserved. So we actually recorded with the intent of putting it out on vinyl, which it is available on vinyl as well. Well, it has a different sound. Everyone has their own thing. I think for certain music, especially music that has a lot of first of all, if it's recorded properly, then it sounds great on vinyl. If it's not recorded properly, it probably doesn't. It depends on the type of music you're. Yeah, well, Troubadour is a classic venue. It's one of the great, venues, especially for the type of music I'm making on this, with this record and with this band I have. And I'm bringing this incredible band out there with the legendary Sam Bush on mandolin, and another legendary player, a guy named Paul Franklin on pedal steel, who's one of the great, true pedal steel geniuses in the world. So it's a real music show, and it's going to highlight a lot of really high-level playing. Well, this album is really the culmination of all the other records I've made up to this point. I think if you listen to my solo work, you can hear snatches of where I was heading. It just so happens that on this record, it all came together in a very special way. So I don't think I could have made this record had I not made the previous ones. So it's really, it's a unique project, and I just think I found a sweet spot for my voice and my guitar playing, and I found a place that really feels very natural, and I, in a sense, kind of almost, I feel like I'm coming home with making this record. My biggest obstacle is time. This is a promotional tour for the album release, which is on February 2nd. So this is really a promotional tour. I'm trying to hit some markets where I can, have a lot of press and music press in particular, see and hear the show, so the word can get out on what I'm doing. I'm playing in New Orleans, I'm playing in New York and Philly and Chicago and LA and San Francisco, playing at the Folk Alliance in Kansas City, and on, and on and on. So traveling Atlanta, so this is just a kind of an exploratory tour to get the word out on the record. And hopefully, if things go well and people like what they hear, this can be expanded into the fall of this year, after the Hall and Oates tour. I'd love to go there as well. Yeah, that comes up in May and goes through July. So that's going to be a fun, but that's a whole different, thing. That's a giant, U.S. national arena tour.
Yeah.
Playing to, huge audiences and completely different thing, where I shift gears and I enter into that other world of, pop music and basically, celebrating the great legacy of songs and music that I made with Daryl Hall over my lifetime. So it's really great to have both things going on, and I get to really it's almost like being two different people. Well, it's done very well, and the people seem to like it. I've got a lot of genuine positive responses on the book. In fact, the paperback version of the book comes out in May with some additional material as well. Well, I like the whole record. I like the fact that the record really, it really feels like a complete thought. The whole record. It's not just a hodgepodge of songs. The record has a flow to it. It was designed to be, to be put on vinyl. So it was recorded with that intention. I'm really proud of it. There's two originals. One is the title song, Arkansas, which I'm very proud of. But I like all the songs. I like Mr. Mississippi and You, the Jimmy Rogers song. I like my version of Palette, Make Me a Palette on Your Floor, which I call Palette Soft and Low because I've kind of added a refrain to it.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of this authentic roots and blues and swing and ragtime record, but with a little bit more of a modern sensibility. It was totally spontaneous. We worked out the general approach in the studio. I played the original style on the guitar, and the guys just interpreted what I did and put their own personality into it, and it was totally live. There are no repairs, there are no overdubs, there are no fixes. It's exactly the way we played it in the studio. I'm bringing an incredible band to the Troubadour. I've got the legendary Sam Bush coming with me on mandolin, and a pedal steel genius named Paul Franklin, who he's highly regarded as one of the greatest pedal steel players in the world. In addition to my rhythm section, which is amazing. So the band is going to be really off the charts.